Hello, YouTube. Just kind of hanging out here. Sunday, the 26th of March. Looks to be a nice day out there. And today, what I'm thinking about is how it is we accomplish anything in life. And the way we do that is it begins with sort of an act of imagination. Something in our mind happens and we think to ourselves, boy, I'd like to X, X, I'd like to accomplish something, or I'd like to have something. And for a lot of guys, anyway, the first thing we ever really wanted, besides a girlfriend, was and maybe that's the place to start. You're a guy and you're thinking to yourself, I'd like a girlfriend, but sometimes it happens otherwise. Sometimes it just happens sort of organically. You're going to school, you're in 8th, 9th grade, and then, and you're friends with all these different people, and in 10th grade, various biological processes, you have the inclination to take it a little bit further with someone who's already in your sphere, and sort of organically. And a lot of us, happen upon our first sort of girlfriend, boyfriend in that way. And but sometimes when it's not something that's going to happen like that accidentally, you seek out to accomplish something on purpose, right? And the way you do that, again, it starts with some in your mind as an act of imagination. Boy, I sure would like to have a car. I think I could go places on weekends, and maybe I could find a girlfriend because I had a car, and, that sort of thing. That's the process. But you don't really know where to go from there. And so maybe you talk with someone, say you talk to your mom or your dad or your friends, and you say, look, I want to get a car, but I'm not sure how to go about that. I'd like to have a car. And so someone in your sphere of influence says, well, it's going to cost you money, so you're going to need some money. And that's probably something like that is the first time we actually run into a situation where we are forced to think about money. We're young, maybe probably still living at home, and either either your mom or your dad or someone says, you're going to have to get a job because I don't have the money to give you to get a car. Well, a lot of parents do that. They'll come, they will have the money, they will help you, but not always. And so, again, someone within your sphere of influence will say, well, you're going to need money, and to get money, you need a job. And so you're 16, 17 years old. I mean, you need to be 16 years old in most places to drive. So 16, 17 years old, you decide you want a car. All your friends are talking about, we want to get cars. And so you talk to someone, usually a parent, and they say, well, you're going to have to get a job. And that's the first time that struck you, too. I mean, you've seen people, your mom, your dad, whatever, friends, relatives, all going off to work, but, and you kind of know they work for money, but you're not sure of the connection there. I mean, what's the connection with life and earning money and having a job? And then suddenly the pieces start falling together. You want something, it's going to cost money, so you need a job to earn. And so now, you're going to move into the process of looking for a job. And for most of us, that'll be Walmart or some fast food joint. It's a pretty big list. I mean, but a lot of us will start in fast foods or something like that, Walmart. And we will start working, we'll start earning money, luckily, or, we're probably still living at home when you get a first job. And you can save a big portion of that towards your goal. And maybe you work for a year and you've saved up, 18 months and you've saved up $4,000 or $5,000, and you go out and you find a $4,000 or $5,000 car, right? And that's sort of our introduction into adulthood, working for money and having a goal. And within all those three processes at that point, we're pretty new to the processes and how far our actual skills and abilities within doing all those things, within earning money, finding employment, saving, managing your income. And some people get sort of stuck in that, at that level, at that beginner level, in particular in terms of managing your finances, right? I was financially illiterate until the age of about 32, 33, because at 32 I was broke, which I define as not having any savings. I was unemployed and I was $50,000 in debt. And somewhere along the line, it also occurs to you exactly what the role of money is in life. And it occurs to most of us that everything we want in life has a price tag attached. Even things you think, it's free to go to the park and just hang out in the sun and work on your tan. They say the best things in life are free, but to do all those things, to be in a position where you can go in the park and just hang out, a lot of work goes into being able to do that, right? I mean, you have to have some place to live, you have to have something to eat, you need to have the free time. And so even what seems like, relatively free or no cost endeavors like hanging out in the park, there's stuff going on in the background that enables you to be at that park, to be well fed, all that, to have a roof over your head. All that's going on, and for the first 20, 18, 20, 22, 24, and even longer years of your life, your parents are taking care of that for you. But at some point, the other things you're going to want, something seemingly, free, you want to be able to live someplace other than in your parents' house, and the sort of restrictions that come with that. You want a little bit more freedom, or you want more freedom, or you think that, living with your buddies instead of living with your parents will provide you more of that sort of freedom that you're after. But sooner or later that connects. But unless you have some sort of natural curiosity, or you have someone in your life, your pursuit never goes beyond that. That's what happened to me. I mean, I did, I by the time of 32, I had 12 years of working behind me. And yet somehow I had managed to spend every cent I had earned. And in fact, more than that, because I was $50,000 in debt, and I had financed that $50,000 in debt mostly with credit cards and a car loan that I had at the time. So I hadn't really got beyond that beginner phase where we all start, where we figure out, we need to earn money, and then we need to save some money so that we can buy this thing that we want. it took me, at 32, I figured out, look, I'm doing something wrong with my money. I mean, how else did I arrive at this point? And so this was before the internet was quite the thing it is today. And so the most readily accessible form of information was at the library in books. So I went there, and about a year after I'd reached that point at 32, by the time I was 33, I had fixed most of that. I mean, I was still in debt quite a bit, but I'd even started paying that down. I had a job. I had some good income because I was a journeyman electrician at 33. I'd gone through an apprenticeship in my 20s. And so I could always go back to, I could always readily find work as an electrician, and that's what I did. But I knew I had to learn how to manage my money better. And so I just read a bunch of books on the subject and pieced together a plan. And it did not occur to me until sometime after I had started that process of self-education how expensive my financial illiteracy had been. And sort of the question you need to ask yourself is just how financially literate are you? How do you really know how to manage your money? Do you even know how to start to manage your money? Do you know what a monthly budget is? Do you have a monthly budget? Do you know how to figure out what your net worth is? Do you know what return on investment means? Do you know what interest is? Do you know your credit score? Managing your money is one of the fundamental abilities of adulthood. And until you're able to construct a really solid personal financial management plan, you're still in the adolescent phase. And some people stay in that adolescent phase all their life. So if you don't want to be one of those people, you need to become financially literate. And I am still of the opinion that even though the internet is what it is, that the best way to become financially literate is by reading books, beginning with the most basic book you can find on the subject. So, financial literacy is a thing, and the ability to manage your money is also a thing, and it's a place at which you want to arrive. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please leave a comment below.